Welcome to Outside the Ring, and I am here with my guest, Mike, the security guard.
Maverick, pleasure to be here. How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I cannot complain, sir. Another day above ground.
Start off by asking, what got you into wrestling?
Well, when I was a kid, man, I used to watch wrestling. That was one of my favorite things to do was watch wrestling. I spent a lot of time watching NWA more than I did WWF back in the day. So I grew up on a lot of Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Sting, Magnum TA, Ronnie Garvin. Like those was a lot of the wrestling that I watched back in the day. I got into WWF a little bit later, but I was always a fan. And then, growing up, I just kept the fandom, was always athletic growing up throughout school. When I got older, I had an opportunity to go to a show. I met a gentleman by the name of Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe. He pushed me towards the school, and I was able to get into that school.
So, what promotion did you start wrestling at first?
XICW. I started in XICW from the first day of the promotion. Um, Thankfully, under the tutelage of DBA, a gentleman that I owe a lot to throughout my career. Guy taught me a lot about business, about wrestling in general, about myself. I started in XICW in the year 2000 when they opened. I wrestled with them until the year 2008, and then I was injured. I wrestled periodically throughout Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York, throughout Michigan, but mostly throughout XICW.
How'd you come up with the character Mike, the security guard?
It was actually a joke, brother. When I got done going to school, I came back around here. School was in Mansfield, Ohio, ASWA. They're no longer there anymore. When I came back around here, I talked to the one promoter about being part of the show, and he told me I was never going to be anything more than a security guard. So when I started with XICW, DBA, he was trying to start new guys and come up with different people that nobody else had. So he started me off as Mike the security guard. And it was a joke. It was basically a rib on the other place that told me I would be nothing but the security guard.
Yeah, but you made it this far, so
I went through a lot of stuff, man. I mean, I ended up having a back surgery 2009, then had wrestled last time I had thought in 2012. I had some issues with my arm when I was at work in 2015. It basically felt like all the strength went out of my arm, and I had several MRIs done, finally leading to my neck, and come to find out that I had had triple cord compression in my neck. So I had to have an emergency surgery where basically they gave me a 50-50 chance that I wasn't going to get off the operating table. But if I didn't have the surgery, I was basically going to die anyways. I ended up having the surgery, obviously made it through. I ended up having a second surgery in 2018 on my neck. At that point, kind of figured my athletic career was over. 2023 here came along in January. I went to see my neck surgeon, and he told me that everything was fused, everything was good, nothing could break it, and I was cleared to do whatever I wanted to do, including come back to pro wrestling. So since then, I've been working and training and have latched on with a group, Northwest Championship Wrestling in Michigan. I did have my first match in August with the Soul Taker. Kind of bit off a little more than I could chew there, so I didn't take a win, but realized that I needed to get in way better shape. So I've been kind of busting my butt in the gym since then. But we'll be coming back pretty soon on a regular full-time basis.
Nice. So you went from having surgery to seeing everything was fused, being able to come back to the ring.
Yeah, I never honestly, I mean, I had pretty much given up hope that I was ever going to be able to do anything athletically, including wrestling again. I loved wrestling. For the longest time, it was my life. I wasn't ready to give it up, but when I was told that it was probably in my best interest to never do it again, I took the medical advice. But when I came back and the doctor said, hey, you can't injure yourself, nothing can happen anymore, you can pretty much do what you want to do. I was very happy to be able to take that advice and come back to do something that I loved. So I didn't think I was going to get this opportunity again. And I'm very happy that I get to do this, at least for a couple of years. I am starting to get a little older now.
Yep. You never know. It could be a few more months or it could even be a few more years.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with sports. You never can tell. I mean, injuries happen and things happen on a regular basis. That's why I continue to train and, keep my diet the way it is and constantly stay in the gym and try to avoid the little injury bugs and stupid things that can derail any type of comeback that I've been having currently.
I don't know if you covered this, but how did you find out about NWCW?
Gentleman that runs it's been a personal friend of mine for a long time. I met him many years ago. A gentleman by the name of Glenn Berger. He had contacted me sometime last year and told me that he had started up his own promotion. And he had left Michigan a long time ago, and he was under the tutelage of Bobby Fulton, and he had learned the wrestling promotion business from him. And he came back up around here, and he had started up promotion. He had a bunch of really good things going on. He wanted me to come take a look. So I came to a couple of shows, and a bunch of gentlemen that I'm friends with were there, and kind of got the bug, the itch to kind of want to come back. But at that time, obviously, I had no idea I was ever going to be cleared. So I figured maybe I could come back and, maybe do some manager work or something like that. And a few months later, I ended up getting cleared. So since then, I've been working with them gentlemen very closely with the shows, and I'm on each and every one now. And hopefully, in a few more months, I'll be able to come back as an active competitor, pretty much, like I said, on a full time basis.
Yeah, it's never nice. It's never nice seeing someone that you support out on the sidelines.
No, but again, I mean, when we're in this industry, a lot of us realize that injuries happen and people get hurt, and you realize every time you go out there that mistakes could happen, and you could be off for a couple of months. It doesn't take much to tear up a knee or break a bone, and we realize this when we go out there. We do this because we love what we do, and I mean, accidents happen. They happen in everyday life. I could walk down my steps and hurt my knee or break something. So it's kind of just bad luck, or like I said, you try to train and do your best you can so you can prevent those type of injuries.
Yep, always try to be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Absolutely.
So, did you have your first match back in 2000 when you started with X?
My first match was with XICW against a gentleman by the name of the Executioner out of Chicago, Illinois. Gentleman weighed about 325 pounds. And yeah, he squashed me out pretty good, but then we were interrupted by Misdemeanor and Skull Gans, and they proceeded to beat us up pretty good. And they were taking on some gentlemen in the main event. I can't remember because Misdemeanor squashed me out with big sit out splash. So
Um, who would you say some of your toughest opponents that you faced were?
Well, the toughest guy I've been in the ring with, I'd obviously have to say Necro Butcher. Necro's a real tough man. New Jack, tough individual. DBA, pound for pound, one of the toughest guys I've been in the ring with. Corporal Robinson, another real tough guy. Madman Pondo, guy that really don't feel a lot of pain either. I mean, there's a bunch of guys I've been in there with that their level of pain tolerance and the amount of abuse that they can take is definitely legendary, I'd have to say.
Who are some people that you like to face in the future?
Around Michigan, I'd love to get in there with Tommy Vendetta. Um, I never got a chance with him. Chuck Stein's another guy that I think me and him could have some fun. And I'd like to run it back with DBA. And I'd really like to see just how good uh, the process is. MM3.
Have you ever been in the ring with, because I haven't been like XICW or NWCW before, but have you been in the ring with Chuck?
Yeah, I have been in the ring with both Chuck and Brian Cold, and we have an extensive history that goes all the way back to XICW. We're we have a past that could lead to a future. Like I said, at this point in WCW, me and Mr. Cold aren't exactly the best of friends. So I'm assuming that eventually we're going to cross paths to how shall I say this, end our little problem that we have.
Yeah, that could probably get a big promoted really big, like the payoff or something.
Yeah, I think it's about time that Mr. Cole tasted some retirement that he's been talking everybody else needs to go to.
He used to wrestle down here in Fremont at Tim Horner Jr.'s promotion, LPW. He retired from that, I think, like sometime last year.
Yeah, he's been slowly whittling down his area, if you will. I mean, my message for Chuck Cole's pretty easy. Chuck, I came back for one reason, and that was kind of to get rid of you out of NWCW. Mr. Berger's paying me to do that. So once my job's done, this little piece on WCW that I own, who knows what I'll do with it? I might decide that I'm untouchable at that point. But sooner or later, me and you gonna step face to face in the ring, and we're gonna see exactly which one of us has been paying attention. And my money talks, buddy, real long.
Chuck, if you're watching,
Oh, he's out there. I'm sure he'll see this eventually. He knows where to find me. November 17th, Berkeley, Michigan. Nice of Columbus Hall. I'll be there with the nice suit on, the gold chains, the diamonds. Not hard to find.
never know, Chuck. I might be there in the suit.
We're going to bring Maverick out, put him in a suit.
But until then, this has been Outside the Ring. Thank you, Mike, for your time.
Absolutely, Maverick. Appreciate you having me on. You guys support Maverick. He's a great guy. He's doing a great job.
Until then, everyone, have a good one.